Oh, hey, Joe, first time seeing you on camera.
Hi, Shirley.
Hi, Eva, and hi, everyone. Let me show my face. So here we are at 5 o'clock. Hi there, Anthony. All the reliables are coming in, and it's not 5 yet, so this is good. Eva, I just wanted to tell you, and Anthony, if you need, Rita, you were able to make it. That Adam can also help you co-host if you need it, Anthony.
Yes, I do, because around 6:10, I might have to leave early.
Okay, so Adam's going to be a little late, but
Okay, that's fine.
as soon as he comes on, we'll tell him.
Yep.
Okay, and you can do that with him, right? You can
Yep.
just, okay, excellent, excellent.
Okay, then I'll make Anthony the co-host. I mean, Anthony the host.
Right.
Okay, so just to let you know that you have an hour and a half for your meeting.
I know.
Before to start SLA.
Right. Yep. So anyhow, we're just waiting for what's happening here. We've got our participants. We've got 7, attendees. We have 1 attendee so far, so our presenters have not shown up yet. Oh, I hope they know what to do.
They're at the bathroom getting ready.
Oh golly, that's kind of like we have an item on the agenda. If the guys aren't here to do the, oh my goodness, Amy made it too on time. This is really just great, because a couple of you, Rita and Amy, didn't even know if they would be able to be here on time. I think we've got our quorum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a quorum. That's great.
Hooray!
Yeah, and we've got also Joe Flayhaven, so that makes another quorum. So we've got plenty of people. Oh, Tyrese, okay, you're from Wegman.
Yep, I'm promoting.
Tyrese be promoted? Yeah, elevated. Yes, sir.
Shirley, I'm sorry, Shirley, before I get off, can you let me know when the meeting is done?
You mean email you or?
You can email me.
Okay, sure.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Text you, I can text you too, whichever.
Oh, okay.
All right, whichever I get to. Okay.
Okay, have a great meeting.
So then, okay. So Tyrese, can you just unmute yourself for a minute and tell me?
I can. I just wanted to check how's everybody doing. We should have my consultant should be, I don't know if both names are Roberts. They may be in the waiting room, as they may be as attendees as well.
Robert Nadrimi.
Yeah, I don't see their
Okay.
names yet. I don't see
I see Robert.
their name. You see Robert?
Yep. And
Where
who else is on your team?
Robert Lee. What's Robert's last name?
Wait, let me just see. Oh, great. So Robert is here.
And Robert Lurch. Robert Lurch should be as well.
Okay, I see a Robert.
Oh, wait a minute. So who have we got here now?
Hi, this is Robert Nadramia from Sam Schwartz. I just joined as a panelist. I don't know if that was the right thing to.
Yes, that's what we made you a panelist.
Okay.
Oh, here's Robert Lurch. Okay, Robert, that was what I wanted to make sure that you're here, and I am going to introduce myself and start the meeting. So, good evening, everybody. So glad to see you're all here. And I am Shirley Secunda, the chair of the CB2, Community Board 2 Manhattan Traffic and Transportation Committee. And our meeting has begun. And I just would like to introduce you to, Anthony, can you elevate Natasha Avanesians also?
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to introduce you to our committee. And I will do that by way of taking attendance. And just when I take attendance, whoever I call, just say, say hi. That, and then we'll know you're here. Okay. So anyhow, Natasha,
Here.
you're here. Okay. And Amy, Natasha Avanesians, Amy Brenner. There you are, Amy. Thank you. And Ritu Shatri.
Here.
Okie dokie. And Janet Liff. Hi there, Janet.
Hi.
And I see that even Dan Miller, I think, has made it. Yeah. Where are you, Dan?
On my way to the airport. Pretty
That's
soon.
what I thought. Real loyalty there. Lois Rakoff.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. I think we've got a full house here. And Anthony Wang, I know, is here.
Yeah, here. Just double
Right.
checking. Is Roy Ruiz also a part of the panel?
No, he's from Assemblyman Member Glick's office.
Okay, well, they have their hand raised, but I'll lower it.
Oh, well, he probably doesn't understand.
Yep.
Roy, you just listen in. You're not part of the panel. Okay, AW. And Adam is going to be a little late, he told me. And Joe, I saw before, Joe Flayhaven, he's one of our public members. Ed Ma, you're here. I thought
Yes,
you were on
yes.
another committee.
Here.
But Ed, you're not on our committee anymore.
No, I'm still here.
I was told that you're not. But anyhow,
No.
join us.
You know
Sure.
what? I'm still not, I'm not on the life committee, but here and transportation committee still stand.
Oh, okay, we'll straighten that out then, because
Yeah, I'm
we
a
told you
belong.
weren't with us.
Yeah.
And how about George Haikalis?
I'm here. I don't see me
Right.
on the screen though.
Oh, is there a way of putting George on the screen?
Yeah, I just prompted him. Oh, we see you, George.
There I am.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, there you are, George. But Joe, we don't see you, Joe Flayhaven. However, anyhow, I know you're here because I saw your name. And
Joe's here too. You can see his video.
oh, you can see him. Is he here? Oh, there you are, Joe. How did I miss you? Hi. Raise your hand, Joe, and say hi. He's not hearing me. Okay, whatever. Anyhow, procedure. For those of you who have not been to one of our meetings, we have 2 items on the agenda tonight. The procedure is to hear each item separately at a time. So first, that would be number 1 for Wegmans. The sponsor for the proposal presents. The committee asks questions. Then we open it up to the public, our guests, and they would both ask questions and make comments. After that, the committee goes into what we call business session, which means that the only people that can talk are the committee members. And so we deliberate about our reactions to what was just discussed, and we decide whether we should write a resolution. And that is just about the procedure. I should say to you, a couple of ground rules. Anybody has anything to say beyond that, use the little symbol at the bottom of the screen to raise your hand. Please do not indulge in cross conversation. We're going to have to mute you if you do that. And committee, can you think of any other rules that we have to worry about right now? No, I don't think so. Here's Adam Zeldin. So Adam, we're making you a co-host because Anthony will have to leave a little early, say around 6 or 6:10.
Happy to help. Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we're just going to move on, and we've got our presenters for the Wegman proposal here. We've got Robert Nadramia and Robert Lurch and Tyrese Bryan. So you're on.
Thank you, thank you, Shirley. This is Robert Nadramia here. It's nice to be here tonight with everyone. Robert Lurch is my colleague. We're both working with Tyrese on the new Wegmans store that's slated to open at 770 Broadway, the old Kmart building, sometime, probably middle of next year. On a personal note, I'm actually very happy to be here and to be working on this project and to have this opportunity to discuss this with you. I actually am very familiar with this area. I went to Cooper Union back in 2001 to 07, literally right across the street from here. So spent a lot of time, in this very area, and I'm, very happy to have this opportunity to be working on a project in an area that's very, near and dear to, my heart in a lot of ways. So, to that end, as I'm sure many of you know, myself living here in this area for about 6-7 years, almost 20 years ago, there's not really many large scale supermarkets in this general area. You've got, Whole Foods and the Food Emporium up by Union Square. There's another Whole Foods down on Houston Street by the Bowery. But in this, specific area, in the heart of the village, there's not really any large supermarkets to serve the many people that live in this area. And so Wegmans has chosen this site to develop it and come here, to serve, everyone here, and to work with the community to make the store a success. To that end, we do have, 2 items to bring before you tonight for your review and comment that would help, Whole Foods, be able to operate their store. The first is the request for bicycle racks. They want to be able to put some bicycle racks on 8th Street, close to the Broadway side, and then also on the Lafayette Street side, closer to Wanamaker Place or 9th Street. And that's basically to help serve, a lot of there's going to be bicyclists performing deliveries to people that may be ordering from home and placing an order that way. This would be a means for them to be able to park their bike while they get their goods and then bike off, or also for other bicyclists that are coming to this area, park their own bikes, go into Wegmans, do their shopping, and then be able to bike home. The second piece of this is also some proposed changes to the curbside regulations on the north side of 8th Street between Broadway and Lafayette. As many of you know, there's currently a very large depressed curb cut that serves a lot of shallow loading docks on the north side of 8th Street attached to this building. And there's a no standing, bear with me a second, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. regulation on either side of that. So between Broadway and the loading docks, and then from the loading docks over to Lafayette. What we like to discuss with with the board tonight is approximately 80 feet of curb space from Broadway to the curb cut, to have that sign for truck loading activity, primarily to be used by Wegmans for bringing in their goods to their store. And then the remaining 125 feet from the curb cut to Lafayette, exactly how that space would be split up hasn't been determined just yet, but part of that would be for delivery vehicles and also for delivery carts and or bicycles with little wagons attached to them. It's not clear at this point. It's still very early on in the discussion process of how exactly that would be split up. If it's just to pick numbers, 80 feet for vehicles and 44 feet for bicycles, or if it's or if it's a different breakdown than that. But that's basically the intent of how to use that space. So with that being said, I can pull up graphics of either of those things to discuss, be it the bicycle racks or the curbside regulations. I can share my screen if anyone would like.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, so you can visualize it. I did send your graphics to the committee, but anybody who hasn't seen it yet, I'm sure would be interested, and members of the public. So Anthony, can you help them with that? With sharing?
He should have the ability to share.
Okay, it says the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Hold on one second.
Not a problem. But basically, that's what we're here to discuss with the board, to get your feedback and opinion on.
You can try now.
Okay, let me. Now it's working. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, good. You never know.
Okay, can everyone see my screen right now? It should look like the proposed condition curbside regulations for 8th Street. I can zoom in if anyone would like.
I could see it, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. So, just to recap, the 80 feet here would be, the intent would be to use that for truck loading. And goods will be brought into the loading docks from there. The curb cut is no standing anytime by default. So trucks and vehicles are not allowed to park there and do any unloading. So that would have to stay clear. And then again, the last 124 feet from the curb cut to Lafayette, it would break down to some amount of that space to be used for like delivery vehicles, like your Grubhubs or your Yelps or DoorDash, something to that, something along those lines. And the remainder would be used for like delivery cart, bicycle vehicles. To again, be able to deliver food to people in the area that may have ordered a delivery.
Robert, if it's possible to do like a full screen and zoom in a bit, someone in the audience can't quite see the font.
Sure. Give me a moment. Full screen mode.
Or just hit the magnifying glass, the plus sign over there. Yeah,
Yep.
just increase.
Yep.
It. Yeah.
That should work. Is that better?
Fine.
Yeah, it looks fine on my end. Yep, the
And I
audience
just want to
members is
say
saying.
that, of course, hold your questions till after the presentation. Okay, Robert?
Okay. If anyone would like, I can show the graphics for the proposed bicycle racks.
Could you show the graphics for everything? I think that people would like
Sure.
to really, they'd be enlightened to see them.
Sure. If everyone's has seen the if everyone's okay with me switching, from the curbside regulations, I'll switch over to the bicycle racks now. I can switch back at any time. I have both windows open.
Great.
Everyone see the bicycle rack plan now?
Oh, where they're located. Yeah, can you just go through that right now and just tell everybody?
Sure. So
the
this is
location and so forth. And
yep, this is the northeast corner of 8th Street and Broadway. There are 6 existing city rack bicycle racks right by the N&R subway station entrance. We're proposing an additional 4 racks at this area. And again, the reason that the racks are down here is there's the long curb cut for the loading docks. We can't be blocking those. And then as we get closer to Lafayette, that's where a lot of the other activity will be going on with the bicycle carts and anticipated vehicles that would be delivering goods to patrons. So the intent was to have some additional bike racks here at the northeast corner of 8th Street and Broadway. The other location here is Lafayette. North is to the right. So here's 8th Street, Wanamaker. We're proposing another 3 city rack bike racks near Wanamaker Place. The reason for them being up here is primarily because of all the MTA and Con Edison grates and city bike stations that's in this area. So in total, we're asking to be able to install an additional 7 racks total between the 2 locations.
right.
Do you have images of the racks? Like any kind of other better,
Janet, please let him just finish. We will keep your questions, committee, and we will ask at the end of the presentation. Can you continue, please?
I mean, this is pretty much this is what we have at this point.
Okay.
We have
you
the
also have the street. I mean, you had renderings as well that you sent us.
Okay. You want
No,
to? We can.
Yeah, Robert, let's show them some of the renderings too, and then we can open it up for questions.
Yep.
Yeah, we just got a question here about explain what we are looking at. I guess I can say what we're looking at. This is a proposal by the new Wegmans that is coming in. It replaces the old Kmart, if you remember. between Broadway and Lafayette Street on 8th Street, and it's also on Lafayette Street to 9th Street or Wanamaker Place. And this is just simply very clearly, he has made it very clear, a proposal for
Is everyone able to see my screen?
bike racks. I think you just lost it. For bike racks and also for, yeah, you did. And you know what? There's another question, which symbols are bike racks? If you put on your renderings, they will understand about the bike racks. Did we
Yep.
use it all together?
Give me one moment here. I'm just
Okay.
gonna,
Oh, I will explain a little more. Right now, there are bike racks that exist at the corner, at the northeast corner of Broadway and 8th Street. They are proposing to add 4 more bike racks there, I believe. There it is. There you go. See the 4 bike racks? Very clear. Okay. And could you also show the one on Wanamaker Place on 9th Street? Did everybody know that 9th Street is also called Wanamaker Place for
Yes.
Wanamaker's department store that used to exist there?
and hold on.
Okay. So now this is the southwest corner. And this is
Correct.
the other end of what was Kmart and which will now be Wegmans. There you go. 3 bike racks proposed, right?
Correct.
Yeah, there's no other ones there. This is no additions, right?
Correct. Currently there's no bicycle racks at this corner. So this would be 3 standalone bike racks here.
Okay, so now we have to see what's the other renderings tell us, right?
Okay, so bear with me for a moment. I will just switch tracks
Okay.
here a little bit. This is 8th Street, closer to Lafayette. You can see the 6 train entrance in the background a little bit. And this is near what was the entrance to the Kmart. This is just a very sample rendering. Again, we don't know exactly what the breakdown is going to be in terms of space, but the intent is to show an example of what some of these bicycle carts could look like in this space.
Right. And then there was something else you showed, right?
There was one
The
other
block,
one.
right.
Give me a second. I think I have it open.
It showed people walking on the street. I guess that was between Lafayette and Broadway.
Yes, that was between Lafayette and Broadway. What it is there, I lost it. Hold on.
Okay, and
believe
then you have
here
some
we-
proposals for parking regulations too that you'd like to tell us about, correct?
Right. Give me one second here. So what's proposed here, this is the north side of 8th Street between Broadway and Lafayette. This area here, if you can see my mouse on the right, is what's currently the easternmost loading dock. There's a proposal to close that loading dock off and raise up the sidewalk in that location and do a little bit of sidewalk regrading there.
So this is the easternmost loading dock,
Correct. The one closest to Lafayette.
most closest. And you want to close that?
So it won't be fully closed. It'll turn into 2 large doors. So one of the doors will be one of the doors Wegmans will utilize to
Okay.
bring out orders for bike couriers or for Instacart drivers waiting for pickup. So it'll turn into 2 doors. It's 1 large garage door now. It'll be 2 semi-large garage doors. One that our landlord will continue to utilize and one that's dedicated for Wegmans.
Oh, okay. One for the landlord and one for Wegman. And what about the regulations there?
This would be part of the new 124-foot zone. That would be a breakdown between either like car delivery services such as your Uber, your DoorDash, your Grubhub, and the bicycle carts.
This it's part of what size zone?
This would be part of, and I'll share my screen.
Can you
back to
tell
it.
me the dimensions? I didn't get the dimensions. Is it
It's the 124-foot zone. Area right here that would be used as it would be part of it would be used for car deliveries. Basically, they would be picking up goods from
Deliveries.
Wegmans to bring them to
What-
patrons.
Yeah, okay, deliveries by those little carts with the bicycles?
Correct. Part of it would be that. Part of it would also be, people driving an actual car that we picking up groceries to deliver to someone as well.
And also pick up by cars of groceries. That's a little confusing. Okay, that's that green part. Okay,
Correct.
is this all for what kind of parking regulations are you proposing for this? You said there
So
were
for this area, we're proposing a no parking anytime.
no parking anytime for that, just that area.
Just for that area, correct.
So it would be no parking anytime, and it would basically be the pickup drop off.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. That area proposed, okay. And that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, and
The other proposed loading zone to the west, 80 feet, shown in blue, that would be for your traditional truck loading to bring goods into Wegmans. So trucks coming to deliver to Wegmans, they would be able to use this area here, unload their goods, and it'll be brought into the Wegmans store.
trucks to unload goods, okay. Let me just clarify. Then the other one is really for pickup drop-offs, or is it a combination of pickup drop-offs?
It's mainly just going to be for pickup. It won't be anything to drop off. So couriers will come on their bikes with wagons or carts, and they will pick up orders. Orders will be brought out by employees. Same thing with vehicles. Vehicles would pull up, they would come out, and a Wegmans employee would come out, load the car up. The driver would never get out of the vehicle, and they'll be on their way. So strictly pickup in that green section.
So what are you proposing as far as the regulations for that section?
The no parking anytime regulation.
No parking anytime.
Yep, that's the green section Robert showing there.
Okay, I'm just curious because there's usually a specific kind of regulation for pickup drop-off, so I'm a little confused.
Robert, you want to speak to that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, we're proposing the no parking anytime because the intent is to not have people park there and leave their vehicles. And that does allow for product or goods to be brought in and out of a vehicle. But certainly, we'll be in discussions with DOT as well if they decide that there's a better regulation that still meets the goals of the intent here, which to have vehicles pick up groceries that are brought up by the employees. We would defer to DOT on that. But the intent is, to not allow vehicles to be able to park there and leave their car indefinitely.
Okay, okay. So is that the extent of the proposal? It's the regulations, the changes of parking regulations on 8th Street are both on 8th Street, right?
Correct.
They're just on different parts of 8th Street.
That is correct.
Yeah. So that's it as far as the proposal for parking regulations. Okay, I think that's it. Do you think that's it? In your proposal, I mean,
that is it on our end. I know there's quite a few questions, and I know Amy has a question. She's been on my screen for a while.
Right, and so does Janet. Okay, you can take your
however you want to run questions. Go right ahead. We're all set.
You can. Let me just ask committee. Should we keep the screen on? Is it helpful for you to refer to it? Okay. All right, Amy. There you go. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Amy.
I live right next door to you on 10th Street between 4th Avenue and Broadway in the other part where the Wanamaker's was burnt down. And I'm so excited that you're coming. I'm going to be your first customer.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Amy. I'm gonna hold you to that. I want you in line at 2 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be
I
there
hate to
when.
do this, but let's get on with
Okay.
it.
I know, I guess. Okay, but here's what I want to know. So, but I have a lot of questions about this. So first of all, on 8th Street, there's a bike lane there. Where is that bike lane going to be? Are you going to, is that going to disappear? There is a bike lane right there. And I don't see it in the rendering. So I'm curious about that. I can tell you all the things I'm questioning about. I hope you keep the bike lane because it's really used quite a bit. Secondly, this area, that corner of Broadway and 8th Street is really busy. There's just tons of people all the time. And then that filters down on 8th Street to Lafayette. Plus, right now, I think because of the construction you're doing on 8th Street, I think where that section is where there'll be the carts and areas, that area is blocked off right now. It's very, very tight with the bike lanes really squeezed, and then the cars come through.
What is your question, Amy?
My question is, what do you have in place to help keep things moving smoothly on the street? Okay, are you going to request from DOT, traffic guards at the corner of Broadway and 8th at peak times and down at Lafayette? Are you, what I see here without really strict areas and barricades, it's just going to be, I dread to think the number of accidents and people getting hurt.
Okay, we can discuss that in business session, Amy. Do you have any more questions?
That's my question. What do you have in mind to mitigate all this kind of craziness that's going to be going on 8th Street?
I want to ask you something, Amy. Are you talking simply about the automotive traffic, or do you mean also pedestrian traffic?
Pedestrian, bike, and automotive.
Okay.
Robert, do you want to jump in and start and just talk about what DOT is going to require from us?
Sure. So the first thing is, everyone can see my screen right now? It has the parking regulations up.
Where are they?
Yep.
Okay. The bike lane, we are showing it here. I'll zoom in a little bit. I know that right now the bike lane's been shifted a little bit because of the ongoing construction to repair the sidewalk and the vault space underneath. But in the permanent condition, the bike lane is going to remain continuous on 8th Street between Broadway and Lafayette. So that there's no intent to change that at all. As far as pedestrian traffic, vehicle traffic and what have you, the intent is to really not take up any more space curbside than what would be a typical parking lane. Certain, trucks would be, and Tyrese, maybe you can better speak to, some of the truck traffic. When do most of your deliveries occur? Most of them overnight, or is it staggered throughout the day?
Yeah, most of our deliveries will be very early in the morning. So 4 in the morning. Again, this will be our first time coming into Manhattan. So I know there's going to be some traffic that we are going to have to account to, that delivery trucks may potentially be late. But we are going to do what's pretty typical and standard in New York City. Our goal is to get there before our food market opens, so very early in the morning to make deliveries. Again, if there's
what hours would you?
I can't give hours. Just we don't have that nailed down right now. So just in full transparency, what time we want to get there? We want to get deliveries there before store opening, but we don't have a dedicated gap of time period right now.
Okay. Right.
In additional to answer your question, I've been on 8th Street quite a bit at this area, and we're going to do our best to mitigate. To answer your question, Janet, to mitigate traffic, we're not physically going to have anybody outside. We're really going to rely on the public. Again, if DOT requires us any additional mitigation for the carriers or for the Instacart, we certainly will do what we're told from New York City DOT, or if there's any suggestions to help make sure that corner is safe for everybody utilizing it, vehicles and pedestrians, but mainly pedestrian traffic is really important to us.
Okay. So
can I just ask you a question? Will you have somebody when it first opens for maybe the first month or two, somebody evaluating what's going on, like actually looking from your organization,
Yes,
seeing
we,
what's
yes.
happening, what the problems are, and coming back with recommendations, because I guarantee you it's going to be crazy.
I 100% we will. Everything we're planning today, probably after we open, it'll probably be totally different right after, because so we are planning the best we can, but we are a company that reacts. We will certainly react and be evaluating this entire area.
And will you be able to come back and talk to us, 3 weeks after you open, 6 weeks, and tell us what's going on and what you're doing?
Certainly, if that's what the board requests, we certainly are open to come back and speak to the community board.
That was it.
Okay,
Right.
Janet.
Can I, sorry to jump in,
Go
can I
ahead,
just say
Robert.
one quick thing, just, to also help allay some fears here, or concerns, I should say. I live in New Jersey now. I'm in central New Jersey. There's actually a Wegmans supermarket literally around the corner from where I live. And it is my supermarket. I can tell you that they are definitely a company that does react and look to do, as best they can by their patrons and their customers. One thing that sticks in my mind, in the very early days of the pandemic, I don't know if any of you may have quoted on the news or not, but there was a customer at a Wegmans in those first early weeks of late March, early April of 2020. An unruly and possibly mentally challenged person came into a store and started coughing on people, claiming he had the COVID pandemic, virus. And for several months after that, every time that I did go into that Wegmans, there was a member of our police force there right at the entrance, greeting everyone as they came in, not as a show of force, but more just to show, Wegmans is working with the community to allay anyone's fears or concerns that they may have coming in, especially during those times.
Okay, I got the idea. We are under a time limitation.
Understood.
So, yeah, you do say Wegmans has their own police?
No, we will have our own. We will have our own asset protection, so our own security at the store at all times. So
They're not anybody. Okay, wait a minute. They're
Go ahead.
not anybody who would deal with the traffic or the pedestrians, right?
No, not at this time. That is not.
Fine. Thank you. Okay, Janet. Janet,
I'm here. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll go straight to the questions. I'm assuming I look at this 80-foot curb and I think about the size of the store, and have you actually analyzed the truck traffic flow, and exactly how many trucks come in and come out to know that will be adequate? Because one looks at this and I know this street very well too, and there is the bike lane, and if this just becomes a lot of double parking for loading and unloading, that's kind of a nightmare. So I'm wondering, I'd like to assume that you did like a granular study to figure out that this would work. So that's one.
So Robert, and if you can put the curb cut, can you put the curb cut back up for us, showing sort of the rendition? So great question, Janet. The middle loading dock is the only dock that we have access to. So sort of that's the only access we have to our food market. So the one is actually further down. It's not this one. It's not the one where the folks are standing. It's actually where the wheelchairs go on. That is pretty much all we have access to bring our trucks out of. There's a lot of other uses that Vornado has in the building, so I can't really speak to there. So we only have access for sort of one of these garage doors to bring our trucks in and out of. And obviously we only have 2 lanes for trucks. So at all times we will only have, if they both are there at the same time, that's all that Vornado's providing to us currently. So I certainly understand your question. I can only speak to the Wegmans piece of it and what we have access to.
Okay, so I guess time will tell. We don't, because you can't really control it, and schedule your deliveries that carefully to make sure any of
No, we can. We can. We don't know. I can't give you an answer today. The store isn't slated open till late fall of 2023. So that certainly is on. That certainly is ongoing in terms of times. But again, this is totally new for us. You know, coming into Manhattan and dealing with traffic. I can certainly, for our regular normal suburban stores, give you a time frame of when truck deliveries are made. Our goal is to get our deliveries in the early mornings and overnight. That's usually how our deliveries come, because we basically stock the store at night once we close. I believe this store is going to be closing at 11 p.m. Our suburban stores normally close at 12 a.m., but this store, I believe, is closing at 11 p.m. And then overnight, that's when our stocking crew is in. So the load would have been in late in the evening, and they're stocking the store overnight.
Okay, you know what? I think what she's asking is, were there any studies done of exactly? And I think Amy was aiming at that too. Did you do studies previous to the plan to assess what was actually going on in the street? That was really the question. It sounds like you didn't, right?
We don't right now have a traffic study of that. Right now, of what's currently going on traffic wise on the store. No, I don't have that right now today. We know it's significant.
Okay.
Okay, so then
I think that answers the first two questions, and now we've got Adam.
Okay, I have a couple of other, can I finish? I'll be quick with just a few questions. I wondered if these are these your trucks that you control, that they're bringing goods in from a Wegmans warehouse?
Yes, correct. They're ours. Yep.
They're your trucks. Now, if they're your trucks, there's some great trucks that have been designed differently. They're smaller turning radiuses, better sight lines for cities. Are you working towards having a fleet that is designed for a city?
Yes. Oh, yes. We are not bringing our normal track. We are not allowed to. So we won't have a normal tractor trailer coming in here. The trucks that we have, and I don't have that size number, will fit entirely into that dock area. Okay. So we will not have trucks, Wegmans trucks. I can only speak for Wegmans and what's going to be happening with our trucks. We will not have trucks overlapping on the sidewalk. They go fully inside of that enclosed space, that enclosed loading dock area. So we do have smaller trucks. Now they will be probably coming, because we're hoping this store is going to be super busy. We hope that they will be coming more. But yes, it's the same thing that we currently have at our Brooklyn location. We have a smaller fleet of trucks. We don't bring our large tractor trailers that you see out on the road into the city.
Okay, and then you mentioned the cars picking up for delivery. Are those going to be your cars handling deliveries?
Those will be, we partner with Instacart. So all the carrier delivery and vehicle delivery will be from Instacart. So it's Instacart independent drivers. It could be, go ahead.
Can you encourage, because Whole Foods now only does cargo bikes. Can you commit to just doing cargo bike deliveries here and not having cars pulling up?
I cannot commit to that at this meeting.
Okay.
We are that in our resolution.
Can I make one?
No, I think we have to move on. We really don't have time. I'm sorry.
But it will clarify the point. Instacart is still evaluating the vehicle versus bike carrier, Janet.
Please.
Okay.
Adam.
Thank you.
Adam, are you there?
Thank you. Unmuting. Very quick question. Have you guys considered requesting two things? Number one, putting the new bike lane, the new bike racks on the street in the green zone, the no parking zone on the Lafayette side of 8th Street. Number one, have you considered that? And number two, have you considered potentially pushing the bike lane to, I guess, the south end of the street to potentially mitigate any conflict with cars and trucks that are going to be crossing over to get into the various loading zones?
Answer the first question. We did consider putting the bike racks closer up to 8th and Lafayette. We're going to have, that's basically going to be the corner entrance for our food market and our restaurant. And we didn't want the bike racks directly in front of that sort of ambiance. The second piece, we did not consider relocating. We did not consider relocating the bike lane. Robert, can you sort of speak to the bike lane? Is DOT going to, you have more knowledge on what DOT will require from us there?
Correct. Yeah, I'll jump in here real quick. So we did not consider shifting the bike lane at this time. That would be a larger discussion with DOT and their bike lane unit. Normally DOT likes to keep the bike lanes, consistent, going on the same side of the street along its route. So whether or not they would consider a full-time, a permanent, shift to the south side for one block, that's not something that I know that they would, that's something that they probably wouldn't be in favor of unless they were to shift and make a larger change to their overall network. But at this time, that has not been looked into.
Okay, thank you very much. We just got
Shirley,
a comment
I have-
from one of our guests who said, and reminded me, there's a bus lane on the south side of the street. Okay.
Shirley,
and
I just
something
I have
quick,
a
really,
question.
we don't have time. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. All right, George?
Yes, well, I'm a little disappointed not to see our crosstown trolley included in this plan.
Okay, George, ask your question. We all are in sympathy.
But the question I really had was, this is an important bus hub as well. And I wondered if the Sam Schwartz Company had looked at the bus routings and the bus stop locations to see whether this would be a time to make suggestions that would improve that part of the aspect. Just to, that's a question.
At this time, no, we have not looked into, the bus stop locations or the routing around this area.
Thank
you. Okay, I think that's it for the committee. And has anybody raised the hands of the participant, of the attendees? Doesn't look like it. Okay.
Yeah, there is a Jeffrey Rowland.
Oh, Jeffrey. Okay.
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
I'll allow him to speak.
Okay, so let's bring Jeffrey in.
Yep, Mr. Rowland.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
My question is twofold. One, the pickup carts, who will be actually operating them? Is Instacart or somebody, but not Wegmans? So therefore, who will manage them and where will they be stored at night? And can you not use instead the loading dock during the day to act as your waiting area for those carts as they pull up and they're waiting for something to be delivered to them? There may be more than one or two of them at a time, in addition to which there may be cars that want to pull across the bike lane or taxis that want to pick people up. Can't you use the space off the street for some of those bicycle delivery vehicles instead of leaving them in that lane, taking up space that might well be used by people who are trying to take their groceries home? And if you don't, what will happen is that lane is likely to get so crowded that it starts to push into the bike lane and causing the bicyclists to then go into the traffic lane where there are also buses. So I'm a little concerned about all of that congestion, mixing automobiles and bicycle delivery people and bicycles all separately. Also, the no parking rule that you're requesting, there should be no need for that to be all the time, just because the store is not open 24 hours. So the no parking should be commensurate with the store's hours. Am I not correct in that?
Robert, do you want to jump in and answer the transit related items? I will answer the first part in terms of who's going to own the bike. So in partnership, we haven't nailed down yet what is, as I said, I believe it's Janet's answer. They were still evaluating what majority of it is going to be vehicles, what majority is going to be courier bikes. We don't have a definite what that area is currently today, but we do have a strong partnership across all 109 of our stores with Instacart. So it'll be a partnership sort of with Wegmans and Instacart. To answer that question on ownership, we don't imagine the bike carriers wagons staying outside 100%. We imagine them pulling up, parking, leaving them there, then going in the store to pick up the order and coming back out. We're not going to operate folks inside. Robert, do you want to touch on his question specifically about sort of the requirements with what DOT will require again to speak to that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, regarding like the no parking signage and what have you, that's still an open item with DOT and they specifically, asked us to make sure that we've consulted with the community board and to take your opinions for that into consideration. So certainly, it's definitely needed while during the store hours that they're open. for their hours of operation. During hours that the store is closed, obviously, you're correct. There's not going to be any, goods being delivered or taken out or of the store at that time. So presumably that's, the no parking signage could be probably tailored to the, exact store hours that they'll be open, which I think that's still being worked out even on Wegmans end at that side. But certainly, yes, I think, we're all willing to work together on that.
Okay, fine.
They didn't address the
so-
question about using the area inside an empty loading dock, which was their loading dock, to use to have the carts waiting for delivery be in there instead
It's
of
a,
on the street.
it's a shared loading dock, not just ours. So it's a shared loading dock with every use in the building. It's a shared loading dock.
I
So there'll be,
understand. Thank you.
thank you. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, I think that's it. So if you fellows from Sam Schwartz and Wegmans would like to stick around for our business session, by all means, hang out. You won't be able to talk, but you can observe. And thank you for your presentation. And at that time, we'll, figure out what will be.
Thank you so much, Shirley. I love how you run a meeting. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Unfortunately, we're really rushed, so we're going to run right into the next item, which is our capital and expense budget priorities. And Anthony, are you there? Yeah, Anthony, can
Yeah,
you
I'm here.
can
Hold
you
on.
put up our list there? And while Anthony's doing that, oh, there it is. Okay, so let me explain to everybody. You got these in advance, so you know more or less what this is about. Basically, there are 10 items, and the reason that there are 10 items is that was what we are limited to, because this is the budget priority list for the Traffic and Transportation Committee, not for the whole board. So many other committees also will have their requests as well. So we, from year to year, we're always asked to whittle it down to the things that we consider, well, I guess priority. And so this is what we had. A lot of them have been pulled over from last year, and you will see those in black. The ones that have been suggested for this year are in red, and they have been taken from resolutions that we passed this year. And that's really what it's about. So pulled out the ones from the resolutions that seem to be of a good priority, and then listed them in order. So anybody have any comments on that? Janet?
Hi, just a quick question. So is this list in order of priority, or is it chronological?
It's
'Cause I
order
feel
of
like-
priority.
All right, because the 6th Avenue bike lane, we've been asking for that for years. Is there any
Right. And it
chance?
always was our #1 priority. And let me give you the rationale. The rationale is, if you recall, this area at 10th Avenue between Gansevoort and Horatio, we have just recently discussed it. There is every possibility it's going to be done, no doubt about it. I understand that there are funds available. So I think it is in our interest to support it primarily. DOT has indicated to us that they will be ready to come with a proposal. We have already done the resolution asking for the improvements there. DOT has suggested that, not suggested, they promised. The reason that they haven't come yet is because part of that territory is state DOT. And this means that they have to work together with state DOT to get that final plan. But because it's so imminent, that's why we stuck it there. #2 is still pretty good for our bike lane.
Okay.
So that was a reason. Total recognition of how long we've been waiting for that extension of the bike lane.
And then University Place too, they were supposed to come to us with a design, I don't know, a year and a half ago.
Yeah, they're still supposed to be coming. And the reason that this has been taken off is because the things that they had proposed really had nothing to do with what we were asking for. And in addition to that, they're kind of up in the air right now, but they will be coming to us. And until they come to us, it's wasting space, okay, for other issues that we really need done. University Place is going to be done, period. So here are some things we don't know whether they're going to be done. I know.
I mean, just
Right,
because,
yeah,
you know, we
15.
put the 10th Avenue up there because it's going to be done, but then we don't put University up there, even though in the same logic.
Because 10th Avenue is going to be done the way we asked for.
Okay, is University Place on this expense list? I thought I saw it.
It's not on the expenses. It was on the last year's expenses. It was, frankly, there are more priorities right now. They will come back to us with University Place. There is no doubt they want to come back when they're ready. In the meantime, let's get some of these other things moving. That's my feeling, you know.
Agreed. Yes.
Anybody else raise their hand? Because otherwise,
No.
gone. And how do you feel about this list?
It's good. Good. Forever it's good. If we get
It's
one thing,
sadly,
it'll
they
be
only, you
really
know what I can,
great.
hey, what I can do is, this will be brought up at the executive committee meeting. I can ask about University Place, if we could add University Place, how's that?
Sounds good.
Good.
Just keep, so DOT doesn't forget, you know? I don't know. I think it's important they see that we have our eye on it. I mean, they know we do,
Okay,
if there's room.
yeah, and I can throw it in anyhow, in our resolutions. Natasha,
Hi, so just out of curiosity, do you know on average how much these studies cost?
no,
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
I mean.
Probably more than the
we-
projects themselves.
It's all in-house.
Exactly. Oh, they are in-house, that's true.
Okay.
Well, DOT, I guess, estimates how much. I know there was a Parks Committee. They always come, the Parks Committee folks always come with estimates, with proposals. And you know, that's a good thought. We should ask from here on in, when they come with proposals, it would be a good thought to ask how much it costs.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, to how much cost. Because these are kind of general. So you mean to say that we're actually going to get through this in time to let the SLA committee in? This is good.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody else? Any hands raised or more or less? Okay, so with this, and we won't even have to discuss it in business session really, that I'll put at the end something about the University Place one. And also keep in mind for when DOT comes with their next proposal, that we should ask them what the budget is. So we'll know. Okay, great. Let's go into business session and let's talk about the Wegman. I'm just writing down see Janet's and Natasha's comments for myself. Okay, so business session. Okay, I think both Amy and actually Jeffrey Rowland kind of asked the same kind of questions. And I was going to ask that question myself, which was, you know, have you done any studies about what's actually happening in that area on 8th Street between Lafayette and Broadway specifically, not so much, I guess, on Lafayette, because that would be bike racks on the sidewalk at the end. And there is not all that much from what I have observed. And Amy and Natasha, who live nearby, was that you who live nearby?
I do too.
Oh, yeah, on Janet, of course.
I mean, I'm always there.
I find that there's not that much pedestrian activity there, right? So that the bike rack on that sidewalk is not really a problem. It's 8th Street, yeah, and a lot of good points were brought up. Lois, yes. Lois?
Yes, I was just curious. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Hello?
we can hear
Okay,
you.
good. I was curious that the Village Alliance hasn't weighed in. And you cannot or you can? Yes?
I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you, and
Can you hear me now?
Village Alliance, yes. We can hear you both times.
Village
Can you hear us?
Alliance.
Yes, the Village Alliance. I have no idea.
I don't know. I was greatly surprised that they were
Okay,
in
well, we
on
can
our-
ask, we know that our guests are not joining in the conversation, but we can certainly ask them a question. Robert or Tyrese or such, have you consulted with the Village Alliance, which is the local business improvement district, about this plan yet? Can one of you tell me? Tell us.
So, okay for me to speak quickly?
Sure, yes.
I just wanted to make sure. So no, we did not. When we submitted the application, DOT only required us to connect with the community board.
Okay, so it's a good suggestion anyhow, thank you. Okay, the suggestion, it might be one to be followed because that is their territory and they are infinitely familiar with what goes on there. So maybe we'll put that into our resolution. What do you think, Hank? Should we put something like that in our resolution? That
Yeah.
we recommend putting this in, okay. Recommend consulting with. the-
Definitely.
Okay. So that's one, and I see Amy has her hand up and then Adam. Amy. Unmute, Amy, unmute, Amy, unmute. Unmute yourself. There you go.
I
Okay.
got I didn't ask about the bike lane, the bike racks on Lafayette and 9th, but I wonder if they can just move them right around the corner. So they're actually on 9th Street instead of Lafayette, only because with the city bikes and just a lot of NYU students, that corner can get very crowded, and because of the grading, so there's really not a super wide area. It might be easier for the bicyclists if it was, they move those 3 just around the corner. Maybe they could do 6 even, but I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if they're able to do that, but I think actually it would make the flow of traffic better because there are many fewer people walking on 9th Street.
Yeah, well, I'd like to hear people comment on that before we go on.
Lafayette Street has a much,
Adam,
I'm sorry.
and then Janet, okay.
Thanks. I was actually going to propose a different solution to, I think, the same problem. And what I was starting to get at is I think the bike racks should be on the roadbed rather than on the sidewalk. And there's that long stretch of no parking, that green zone that we saw on the Lafayette side of 8th, that I think would be a perfect place to, put the bike racks in the street. That'll encourage, sustainable, low carbon modality to get to the grocery store. It won't impede pedestrians who are walking into the, front entrance of the grocery store. It just seems like a really easy kind of win-win-win. And that's my suggestion. I think it kind of solves the same problem.
Bike rack in the roadbed in the
Yep.
green area.
Adam, you
Love
can
it.
actually, Adam, you can actually do that on
Wait
the.
a minute, in the green area? Was that what it was? Was the green area?
Yeah, that's what I was suggesting, in the green area.
You
The
could
no
actually,
parking zone.
you could actually put it in the street bed in that same area I was talking about, and it would just There's so
But then it's
few.
around the corner.
Yeah, but it's right there.
You mean on
Literally,
9th Street?
It's just,
Possibly
I'm
on
just
9th
saying,
Street.
it's literally right there and it would help all the, it would make it much better for the flow of everything.
All
I'm
right.
just saying.
Janet. Unmute.
I'm a little, I feel, Adam, that 8th Street, you know, when I think about the backside of Whole Foods now and how many bikes they have for deliveries, I mean, I would say I'd be concerned with that suggestion because I feel like they need that green zone for the cargo bikes. I don't know if there's enough room to put racks there and have cargo bikes there. And on the 8th Street side, they were just sort of adding them next to some that already exist on 8th Street. So I mean, I don't, this is, anyway, I'm just, I'm a little concerned about that. If there's enough, they need that road bed.
I mean, if you do it on 9th Street, it's literally just a few feet from where they're suggesting it on the sidewalk. It's
Well,
not.
that's a different thing. We're talking about two different things though, right? One would be to move the ones that are on Lafayette onto 9th.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you were saying the ones from Lafayette too, Adam, onto 8th? I mean, okay,
I think there's two sets, right? There's those on the corner of Broadway and 8th, and then there's those on Lafayette. And I guess my thing is, I think they could serve a dual purpose on the roadbed. Number one, kind of bring people to the front of the store, but number two, could potentially separate the loading dock area from, you know, the red zone from the green zone could be like nicely buffered by a permanent, you know, metal installation of bike racks. But I mean, I hear the concern, Janet, and Amy, that you need, you know, more space there for the flow. I think that's why it would be helpful to have sort of a market study of, or like a model of what the current state is in other urban Wegmans, like how many pickups per hour are there in vehicles versus bikes versus e-cargo bikes. Like, you know, if we had those numbers, we could very easily model out how the curb should be used.
I have a question about that. I think this is the first Wegmans that's urban.
Really?
What they said?
I think they have one in Brooklyn at the Navy Yard.
Oh, do
But
they?
it's-
Okay.
But the one in Brooklyn has a huge parking lot, a huge parking garage. It's in the Navy Yard. It's like basically suburban.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, two things I'll ask about this issue. Can I get a show of hands on putting who's in favor of moving those bikes over to 8th Street? Anybody?
I mean, to 9th Street.
No, I'm asking right now for 8th because Adam was saying 8th. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Lois.
How about who's in favor of 9th? So give me
I
a
don't
hand.
care.
What?
I don't care.
Yeah, but okay. We're getting more people for 9th.
Care.
Okay, we got more people for 9th than 8th, so that's one. We can ask for consideration of
And on
9th
9th Street, they should absolutely go on the road bed because that's just, I don't know, parking or something
bike.
over there.
And I was talking about the bike racks that are just on the corner of 9th and Lafayette.
it's
I
just
wasn't talking
those
about the 8th
three,
Street
right?
ones. I was talking about those. And you could put more in, by the way. You could put more than 3 if they do that.
Right, and even more in number. Okay. Now let's think about 9th Street. I'm thinking about 9th Street, and 9th Street there, it's not so crowded in the roadbed.
It's not
like 8th, but comments on that, please.
They
Jackie,
need a loading zone. I take that bike lane all the time. And outside of that, the Silk building or whatever, I think there's a building there that has an entrance on 9th Street, black cars in the bike lane a lot. So, if we're going to look at there holistically, we need more loading zones on 9th Street.
Oh, well, okay. Any other comments on that?
But that's
a whole nother thing.
I might be going off topic.
Yeah. So we got a couple of things. We're going to recommend that they talk to the Village Alliance. We're going to recommend that they consider moving, these are easy ones, moving the bike lane from around Lafayette Street to 9th Street in the roadway. Okay. But a lot of other things were brought up. Jeffrey brought up something. Now what the heck was it? Oh, he said, what do you need no parking anytime? When the store is open, just certain hours. Adam.
I just think in general, doing what we can as a community to reduce the number of overnight parking spaces will help to discourage, unsustainable, dangerous modes of transit. So I'm fine with it. I think it's good.
Okay. So,
Second,
no. Okay. I'm just trying. I made some different notes.
I made a comment. I think when they work with Instacart, I would recommend that they consider doing only cargo bikes and not have cars doing personal grocery deliveries. I mean, they subcontracted. I think they could probably dictate that.
Right. Instead of, cars. Is it personal deliveries? I think that's what they were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all through Instacart, so it's not private cars, it's, delivery vehicles.
Okay.
And then I would love to.
Oh, so Instacart does cars. I didn't even know that.
I mean, their visual.
I think they do for interborough.
I think they have, their visual had bikes but not with the cargo bikes. They just had bikes with little things on the front of them and stuff. So I don't know, but then they also talked about cars, so.
Okay, so this was in which spot, Janet? Was that the green spot?
That's the green spot where they don't want, where they want people to just expeditious pick up and drop off, no loading in the next spot.
Well, this is things we can recommend and say, you can consider. There was another thing that, a study that they had not done any sort of study really on conditions. What do you think about that?
Yes, that's right.
What Adam said, we need to understand. I mean, they should know 20 trucks, 10 trucks. They should have an idea of the demand.
Yeah.
And we didn't get any of that sort of detail.
Wegmans is really sophisticated. Somebody did that research. I just think that people who are here tonight weren't aware of it.
You would think, well, first of all, to me, you would have to do a study of conditions on the street. Like we've now ascertained there's a bus going, the M8. Okay, there is also a bicycle lane, bicycle lane there. And that there is a sizable amount of traffic. Janet can vouch for that, right?
There's tons of traffic.
Yeah, it's
one of the busiest blocks in that whole area.
Yeah, it seems like it's a narrower street, doesn't it? It feels really narrow.
Well, because it's got the bus lane. It's because it's got the bus lane.
I think it's about 32 feet. It's not that narrow, but it's certainly something they need to look into so that we can easily accept, and I'm talking from Shirley's point of view, and maybe a few others, we can easily accept the idea of these delivery kind of bicycle carts, cargo bike. But maybe that's, and understand also that there have got to be truck deliveries, and okay, you need an area for deliveries. But beyond that, how do you balance it, right? Is that the question? I mean, so you need a study, first of all, not only of the demand, but of the conditions, right? And can somebody comment, because that's my take on it.
I mean, they haven't even considered when it snows. What's going to happen? No, I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that doesn't.
I meant traffic conditions, obviously, traffic and pedestrian conditions on the sidewalk, right?
I fear for the bicyclists as well.
Right, and for bikes. So we should ask for a study. Anybody disagree? Because I don't hear comments.
And I want to second, Amy suggested some active management,
Yeah.
maybe they've
Oh,
got the right
right.
guards, but at least there's gonna need to be some serious eyes on what's happening there, I think.
Oh, okay, so,
Somebody's got to be doing that click thing, how many pedestrians, what's going on. And
well, that's what we said already. We said study. But,
Right.
but besides that, monitoring, that's what you said, Amy.
Yeah.
We do need that. And they said they will do it.
And
And
can
we have to say, we urge you to do it.
yeah,
Said
can we ask them to come back, to
You
tell us
bet.
what they're seeing, put that in there that,
You
for the first 3 or 6
Absolutely.
months. Maybe once a month they come in and tell us what's going on, what they're happening, what they're seeing.
To report on what's going on.
Maybe quarterly. I don't know if we want to see them at every meeting.
You know what?
They probably would never agree anyhow. Let's say
You know what?
quarterly.
You're right. I would like to see the first month though, after they've been open for 4 weeks. What are they finding? And what is their,
That's a good thought, I think. What does everybody else think?
and what's,
Is
Let's-
that okay? I mean, raise your hands if you agree. Yeah, okay. That
What
makes people agree.
I think it would be
come back-
important to
come
add
back
though the
come back
delivery.
after the- Wait a minute, come back after the first month. And quarterly thereafter, right?
and
Okay.
what is their, and what is their method for getting feedback from the community? I'd like to know for people who want to comment in between.
Have my hand raised. Have my hand raised,
Okay, Lois.
Shirley.
Yeah, I'm calling on you. Can you hear me?
I know this. Thank you. Yes. Do you hear me?
We hear you fine.
Do you hear me?
Uh-oh, somebody
Okay.
else speak. Tell Lois.
This
that
sounds
we hear her.
terrible, but I do not think they care about this community. They do not care about the people here. They just want the permits for their loading zones and so on. And I think they did not do any assessment of the impact on this community and that area.
Well, you may well be right. Okay, Adam.
Oh,
Natasha had her hand raised first. Natasha, do you want to go
you.
first?
Oh,
Thanks.
Natasha, okay, you didn't use the symbol. I didn't see your hand. Sorry,
It
Natasha.
was
Yeah, I
faded
think-
in. You couldn't see it.
Yeah, my
Susan.
thing is faded in. I'm gonna change the color.
Oh,
I just would add to whether it's part of the market model or just a separate line item in the resolution to include off-hour deliveries, if that would be a preference of ours. I know that they said that's something that they're committed to
Oh.
doing, but I'm not sure what their schedule is like in Brooklyn. Obviously, it's a very different community, but just given sort of how narrow the streets are, that we would encourage them to do off-hour delivery.
and off hours in this case actually is very feasible too, because there are no residences right there. There have been, when there are off-hour deliveries in certain areas, like in Soho, there's been a real conflict because there are also residential areas right there. In this case, there's no reason not to. No, it's only commercial there. Great.
Mhm.
Okay. Off-hours
Yeah.
reference. No.
Good,
conflict.
good.
Okay. Yeah. No disturbance. Okay, Adam.
Thank you. I'm just thinking about our request for them to come back. And I think if we ask, like, if we lower the barrier of difficulty, we're going to have a higher likelihood that they'll actually come back. So maybe we like keep it finite. Like for now, we just request like a 1 month and 4 month visit, that they come back to us after 1 month and then again after 4 months. And if we decide we still want them to come back, if there's still issues that need remediation, we could ask for that after the 4 months. And then for that return visit, I also think it would be helpful if we structured our ask of them. So if we, in our resolution, in our communication back to them, had like very specifically, like, this is what we want from you at 4 weeks after opening. We want counts. We want to know, how many deliveries, what vehicles, like we want the data so we can actually understand, how the space is being used. We want to be able to better measure sort of the outcomes that we're tracking against.
I agree. Can you give me your hands again? Who else agrees? with tracking. Just put up your hands. No? Yes? Maybe? Dan, Janet, me.
Yes.
Adam. I think we could do Adam. Adam, did you get a little view of what you'd want to see in that tracking?
I'll send it to you for the resolution. I'll get that to you Monday ahead of. Thank you.
Adam will send items to assess in tracking. Okay, that is really an important one, I think. Okay, Janet.
I mean, if you can just insert in there somewhere, I mean, it's something I've been learning a lot about, and they said they're going to be using smaller trucks, but that, I don't know if people agree with me. Like, I'd like to know more about the type of trucks they're using, and there are these high visibility trucks now. I mean, and if it's their fleet, if we can just insert something that they can let us, you know, that they're using the smallest, but you know, most urban friendly types of trucks.
What type? And can you specify the kind that you might suggest?
Yeah, there are trucks now that are being made. They're called high, I got to get the term right, but it's like high visibility, so that they're designed in such a way that the drivers can actually, you know, their blind spots are minimized. And I don't know how, you know, we won't go too overboard here, but I mean, if it's their own fleet and their own warehouse, it'd be great if they were using electric. Well, I don't know why they're not, you know, I'd hope they would be using electric vehicles.
Oh, and also electric vehicles.
I mean,
okay.
We're being
Janet, if you can
aspirational.
get that name of that and the details on that kind of truck to me, I'll include it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, anyone else? I'm just trying to recall if anything else was brought up. You know what, bear with me. Let me just take a look at my notes a minute. Oh, here were some things that Jeffrey had asked. He said, who will manage the pickup truck? Where will they be stored at night? Like in alternate spaces. Do you want to say anything about where these small vehicles will be stored? Do we care if they're out on the street? In the middle of the
They're
night?
not going to be stored. There's not enough room here. I mean, we can say
think
something.
you're right. And also, you know what? In the middle of the night, probably is the least amount of traffic. They're not going to really get in the way too much. All right, so that's that. And let's see. So the no parking is still an open item, but do we want to suggest any particular regulations? Anybody? Or just stick with what they're saying? Well, we did ask about, you know, the no parking anytime, which might be really a drop-off pickup zone. What do you have to say, Jen? You look like you want to say
I
something.
think that you know, we've asked for some more information, but there's nothing wrong with the way I think the way they've recommended breaking up the curb seems reasonable.
Okay. So kind of like if they have no parking anytime, then the trucks can, my assumption is that if it is a drop-off pickup zone, there's usually going to be a little finer specification of what it is. But as they said, they'll consult with DOT. And maybe I can put that in too, you know, if it's a drop-off pickup or consult with DOT. All right, I can't believe it. We actually have a little time. So I'll look and see if there was anything else. Anybody else have anything to say? Well, Amy, you said quite a bit. I think that was really helpful. I think, is Amy still here? Let's see. She may have to drop off. Oh, there you are. I think I'm going blind. Sorry, Amy. So basically, Amy, you're talking about the conditions on the street. And that I think is important. Is it possible for you to send me, and all these, by the way, gang, go right away, you know, so we can get the resolution started and I can get it to you. Could you send me an enumeration of the conditions that you had mentioned of that are problematic on the street? Great, okay. So Amy will send conditions that are problematic on the street. Anybody else have anything else that they think we should put in? Okay. I think we've hit the major points. If I see anything in my notes from what else you said, maybe I'll throw it in. And look, I'm going to be circulating the resolution to you anyhow, the draft resolution, and you will tell me whether you want it in or not. And we are done 7 minutes before 6:30. So SLA will have time to come on. And I thank you all really very much for showing up at 5, for your input. And I'll be in touch with the resolution, with the suggested, the draft resolution. So thanks again. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Bye.
So long.